Good afternoon, traders. My name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a chief analyst in Alpari Research and Analysis, and this is daily analytical report, where I will tell you what's going on the markets, and we'll try to look for decent trading occasions. And actually, guys, this is a very busy week. I guess last busy week ahead of the Christmas and the end of the year. Why this week is busy? Because we will have 4 major central banks deciding about the economic policy, about interest rates and forecasts, and they will reveal their outlook and forecast for the economies. So the first one will be tomorrow, Fed. We have an FOMC, Fed interest rate decision, Fed economic projections, and a press conference, obviously. On Thursday, we will have S&P, we will have ECB, and we will have Bank of England. So 3 major central banks on Thursday. But the only change is expected on Wednesday. So the interest rate rise in US seems close to certainty, and we are waiting for another third rise this year. But the question now is how many rises we will have the next year. As for now, the consensus is for 3 rises in 2018. We will see what their projections, economic projections, are telling us about that. These are to finish with central banks, we have Bank of England, which recently increased interest rates, so they won't do that. For sure they won't do that on the next meeting on Thursday. We have ECB. ECB also won't change interest rates, but for the first time they will show their guidelines until 2020. But no major fireworks are expected either, and S&P definitely won't rise interest rates before ECB. So first we need movement from ECB, which is not expected yet. And after the movement from ECB, we should have movement from the Swiss National Bank. But central banks is not everything what we will look at. Because, for example, today in 27 minutes we will have inflation from UK, CPI and PPI. And inflation is very important. It's this data which is used very often by central banks to decide about the economic policy. So in 26 minutes we should expect higher volatility on a British pound. Also speech from Mario Draghi in 10 hours. Tomorrow, apart from the interest rate decision from US, we will have inflation from US, right? CPI from US. We expect a rise from 2% to 2.2%. On a yearly basis, and we will see what the data will be. On Thursday, we do have data from the job market from Australia, also important data, apart from the central banks, obviously. So those 3 central banks, as you can see, a very busy calendar on Thursday. But also we'll have retail sales from US. And a speech from Governor Polos from Bank of Canada, and apart from that, PMIs from US. So Thursday will be an extremely busy day on the markets. I guess that's the last such a busy day this year, because from 18th to 22nd of December we shouldn't get any major data like gathered in one day like that. And obviously between Christmas and New Year we definitely won't see anything interesting. So brace yourself. The last volatile, the last interesting week is approaching. Actually, it already approached, right? We had Monday already. Also, well, we didn't have a chance to talk about that because Bitcoin futures started trading on CBOE. Trading is good. Volatility is high. Actually, we had a stop because the volatility was bigger than 20% at some point. And after that, CBOE stops trading. But the liquidity, the volume was rather low. It all started with a crashed website. Everybody wanted to check the price when this trading started. But we don't have any like unexpected, unusual movements on the Bitcoin. Obviously, well, we made new highs, the price went higher, but it was happening all the time, so it's not like this decision changed that. I'm sorry, we are back. Last week ended with non-farm payrolls. We had actually on Friday we had a reversal in the markets. So non-farm payrolls were better, but the week started with a bit weaker dollar. Week ended with a weaker dollar. Well, on the record, that was a very strong, good week for USD. But at the end of trading on Friday, especially euro dollar, ended with a small reversal. So that being said, let me go to the technical charts. Here are the charts. First, we will start with the euro dollar. Euro dollar, which is having a very interesting situation because on euro dollar, on a daily chart, as you can see, on Friday we had the hammer. So that's what I was talking about, that Friday ended with a little bit of dollar weakness, because we had this hammer, which was a buy signal. The price actually went higher, but at the end of the day ended with a shooting star. So what is happening here is on Friday we confirmed this horizontal support on 117.30, very important and strong one, and then we attacked horizontal resistance on 118.10, which was defended by sellers. And actually on the H4 chart you can see the importance of those two levels, here and here. As long so we had like buy signal and sell signal after that, which actually creates a situation that there is no signal, right? So the price confirmed the support support here on 117.30, and confirmed resistance on 118.10. As long as we stay in this range between those two levels, the sentiment is neutral. The sentiment is neutral. We don't have a clear trading signal on euro dollar. But to be honest with you, if I had to trade, I would focus more on the long positions here. Well, we broke the downtrend line here, midterm downtrend line. This support is is stronger, is more long-term than this resistance, so it should be more respected than this horizontal resistance. So that's my view. Now let me go to the very beginning here, and Australian dollar to American dollar. Here you can see this reversal. There's a little bit of weakness of the American dollar, but that comeback is just a very, very technical movement, which was highly expected. Why? Well, you can see this pink line. Pink line is a long-term uptrend line, which was broken a few days ago on Thursday. And that breakout on Thursday triggered us a sell signal. This breakout was caused by this flag formation, as you can see, marked with blue lines. And inside the flag, we broke the midterm downtrend line. We bounced from it. We bounced with a shooting star, which is marked with a gray color here. Flag is a trend continuation pattern, so it suggested a breakout. The breakout happened. Now, after this breakout, we do have a technical comeback to the recent support. And we test that recent support as the closest resistance. As long as we stay below the black line, the sentiment is still negative. But price closing a day above the black line will create a false breakout pattern. If the price will close above the black line, all that you can see here will be a false breakout. And that actually will be a very, very strong buy signal. With the breakout from Thursday, everything from the technical point of view looked very, very extremely bearish. But it happens like that sometimes, that you have false breakouts. As you will be able to see, for example, on euro to British pound, or New Zealand dollar to American dollar, which I prepared for you as well. There we do have false breakout patterns, which are very, very reliable. And if we will have it here as well, that also will be a strong buy signal. But for now, we're playing a safe scenario of the price testing the recent support as a closest resistance, which happens very often in price action trading. American dollar to Japanese yen. Also, here on this example, I can show you the false breakout situation. Because we had that downtrend flag, breakout of the lower line of the flag, which triggered a sell signal, but it was false breakout. So this red area is a false breakout. And currently we are playing this scenario of a false breakout. So the price is coming back above, broke the midterm downtrend line, broke the horizontal resistance here, very important one, as you can see. And current sentiment is definitely positive for American dollar to Japanese yen. So although American dollar is a bit weaker right now, there are some instruments where American dollar is still strong, and this is an example of this situation here. So there's, as long as we stay to wrap that up, as long as we stay above the gray area, the sentiment is positive. Australian dollar to Canadian dollar, that was a good one from my side, because I sold here due to the long-term situation here, breakout of the lower line of the flag, of the uptrend line, breakout of the horizontal support, so I sold here. It was going really good, as you can see on hourly chart. Here the price went to new long-term lows, but then we had this interest rate decision and statement from Bank of Canada, which was dovish and caused a reversal. Well, I closed my position on break-even points with small profit because I didn't see any more potential for a downswing. And look, I escaped from this position with a break-even point, so small profit to cover commission, and then the price went higher. Because, well, I escaped that because I did not see any more bearish potential, and still I do not see that either. What we can have here is, for example, bounce from this horizontal resistance along with the midterm downtrend line. Okay, fair enough. Then I will wait. I will see, and I will rethink my approach to this. Gold. Gold is in a strong downtrend. I also had a position here, short one, closed here, then there was a correction, then another bearish wave. So I would have more profit by now, but okay, sometimes it happens like that. I wanted to capture some profits before weekend. Sentiment still is negative, and we should see the price aiming $1,215 per ounce, which still creates a great trading opportunity for the mid-term and long-term traders. Dollar index, actually no, dollar index is not representing here the full power of the American dollar. Why? Because dollar index, well, depending from the index, but most dollar index are like 70% of euro, and actually euro is very strong. So if we would look the pairs with other instruments like Japanese yen, dollar index would be much higher, but as euro is strong, dollar index is going down. Actually, well, today we do have a reversal on dollar on every pair, so that's why you also see a reversal on dollar index. But the sentiment is positive towards dollar index, so towards the American dollar. I would say that as long as we stay above the orange area, the sentiment here is positive, and there's still buy signal for the USD. American dollar to Japanese yen. There was a nice sell signal here and here. There is none anymore. So we don't have a sell signal here anymore. Now the price is reversing. As long as we stay below the green line, the sentiment is negative, but there is no sell signal. American dollar to Danish crown, no longer interesting, so I will remove it. And oil is doing very good. We had this correction here, which was a nice wedge formation here. Let me adjust that a little bit. Yes, that was a nice wedge formation. Also kind of inverse head and shoulder formation, left shoulder, head and right shoulder. So no surprise that the price is heading higher again. Maybe this line is not so relevant, but I would like to show you one thing. On a daily chart, look at this upper line of the channel up formation that we had recently. It was respected, well, many times as a resistance, and after the breakout, twice as support. So keep eye on this black line, because it proved to be very, very important for the traders. And actually now what we are having is kind of an ascending triangle, so a horizontal resistance here, inclined support. The price will probably bounce from here, go lower, bounce from here, and eventually should break the upper line of this triangle. In general, I'm bearish towards oil, but at the same time, I'm a trader, and I try to be as objective as I can and respect every price action that I see. And here the price action is pointing north. I'm sorry. That's a positive price action, and the price on oil should be aiming higher. Euro to Japanese yen, still locked inside of the range. False breakout scenario in play, and the price is heading higher. So another example of a false breakout pattern. British pound to American dollar. Also, yes, Brexit situation. So we had this agreement. Let's say agreement. On the first stage of negotiations. Now we can move to the stage with a trade deal. That was a positive information for pound, but now we can see that the pound is aiming a bit lower, but that shouldn't be a concern. Long-term sentiment towards pound is positive, still positive. The price is in a positive territory. As you can see here, we are still above the long-term uptrend line. As long as we are above the black line, the sentiment is definitely positive. American dollar to Singaporean dollar, we have to adjust this flag accordingly to the new price swings. That was a good selling opportunity, which you know, because we are talking about that for a long time. And now no surprise that broken support became a resistance, right? That should be none of the surprise. But currently there is no trading signal here yet. And New Zealand dollar to American dollar. Here I would like to describe it a little bit deeper, because it's an interesting situation, and it's this example of a false breakout situation. So the price was creating a symmetric triangle pattern, those green lines, but also inverse head and shoulder formation. Left shoulder, head, and right shoulder on a very important support. And by the way, that was also a false breakout of this horizontal support, which was with us for a long time, right? Those were lows from May 2017. So that was a false breakout pattern, which resulted in a nice upswing. That was a false breakout as well. That was a false breakout below the lower line of the symmetric triangle. So the price reversed sharply. On the way, they broke midterm horizontal support resistance on 0.687. The price broke the upper line of the symmetric triangle and is now heading higher. That's upper line of the symmetric triangle, but at the same time it's a neckline of this inverse head and shoulder formation. So there is buy signal on Kiwi. Buy signal, which was here, it's back again. On the daily chart, this inverse head and shoulder formation looks even better. Left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. So that's a legitimate buy signal. I think I won't be too optimistic if I will say that the first resistance is here on this area. We have to still remember about this line, which is a long-term uptrend line here. Yes, so that's our potential target for the upswing on Kiwi. Let's make it like that, let's see, 110 pips. On Euro to British Pound, we are having a false breakout scenario. Let's look here, orange area. That's a daily chart, so a long-term situation, and we were inside of the range since the middle of September. Resistance was here 0.9, psychological barrier, and support was here 0.875. We recently broke that line, went deeper, but the price reversed, came back above that horizontal support. That was on Friday. On Monday, the price drew us candle with higher highs and higher lows, which actually confirms this positive sentiment towards euro against British pound. Here this buy signal is very strong. That's a bounce from the support, that's a false breakout, which is confirmed by price making higher highs and higher lows. So for me, it's a good trading signal. Next one, euro dollar, we already talked about that. American dollar to Canadian dollar. Here I would like to show you similarity between American dollar to Canadian dollar. Look at that. Horizontal support, right? Horizontal resistance. False breakout, upswing. Let's come back. Euro to British pound daily chart. Horizontal movement, sideways trend, tight range, resistance, support, false breakout, upswing. So I'm looking for this kind of scenario here on euro to British pound. And on American dollar to Canadian dollar, we don't have any signal. We had signal here. Currently we are inside of the range, so there's no signal. Canadian dollar to Swiss franc, no signal, I'm sorry. S&P 500, well, we are happy. Window dressing, Santa rally, December, so stocks are climbing higher. We are about to make new all-time highs on S&P 500, but we obviously have to wait for the market to be open in US. That's just the contracts. DAX is having a nice hammer today, closing the gap. The sentiment is obviously positive. We are telling that since here, when the price defended this 12,900 point support, and as long as we are above this horizontal support on 12,900, the sentiment is positive. American dollar to Swiss franc. Here I also had a buy position, which I already closed on a small profit. I had this open like here, the price went higher, I pulled my stop loss to stop profit, and again that was a good decision because now we have a reversal on this pair. We do have a reversal, but as long as we stay above the green area, the sentiment is still positive. Bitcoin is heading higher, made new highs, well, depending from the exchanges, right? Because we have many Bitcoin exchanges. On some of those exchanges we had 15,000, some of them had 19,000. So depending from the exchanges, we have different prices. I analyze the chart which I have, and on the chart which I have, yesterday we had all-time highs on Bitcoin. 16,000, over almost $17,000 for one Bitcoin. FTSE defended lower line of the ascending triangle, which is a very positive situation. So we should see a breakout of the horizontal resistance here. Because that's an ascending triangle in an uptrend, it's a positive formation. And euro to Swiss franc, that's also a kind of a false breakout pattern because we had this pennant here. The price broke the upper line of the pennant, triggering a buy signal, but they didn't manage to pull the price higher, so we are now going lower, and it looks like we will test this horizontal support soon, which makes it a good short-term trading opportunity. Remember, we have inflation data soon from Bank of England. Which should trigger a reaction on British pound. Let's see actually if we have any. So here technical analysis is telling us that the price should go higher. And probably inflation is a bit bigger, higher, which is a positive information for the British pound. That's why British pound is gaining in value, but maybe the difference is not so big. Let's see the cable, and cable is probably heading higher. Yes, which is happening not in a random place, because well, we can delete this uptrend line. What I'm talking about is this horizontal support, which makes it a decent buying opportunity. Okay guys, thanks very much for watching Daily Analytical Report. Follow us on Twitter and our website alpari.news. And my dear, now we have a short break, and after that we will have a webinar about basics of the Forex market. Thanks very much and see you in